We in public television are proud of Fred Rogers, and I'm proud to present Mr. Rogers to you now.
All right, Rogers, you got the floor.
You sit down in a big leather chair. The room is huge. The cameras are rolling, the crowd is silent, and a United States Senator can't wait to grill you in front of the nation.
Senator Pastore.
As far as Senator John Pastore is concerned, you're a joke, a soft man, and he can't wait to take away the taxpayer money that he thinks you're wasting. But you have a handful of minutes to convince him otherwise. What do you do?
I'm very much concerned, as I know you are, about what's being delivered to our children in this country.
In the case of Mr. Rogers, he was simple, honest, he didn't blink. At the end of his 5-minute conversation with John Pastore, he recalled the lyrics to one of his children's songs.
Know that there's something deep inside that helps us become what we can. For a girl can be someday a lady, and a boy can be someday a man.
I think it's wonderful. I think it's wonderful.
It immediately won every bit of funding that PBS was asking for in 1969.
Looks like you just earned the $20 million.
The man was a puppeteer, and he dog-walked Richard Nixon's agenda. Mr. Rogers is one of my favorite human beings to ever live. That's just one story about this surprisingly impressive man. In this episode, we're diving into the things that made Fred McFeely Rogers, his real middle name, cheersworthy. And along the way, we're going to explore a cheersworthy whiskey to honor a lifetime of challenges well met. For Mr. Rogers, we want a rye, one of the earliest American whiskeys. Rye whiskey goes back to the 1700s, predating bourbon, so we're talking first steps, laying the foundation, origin stories. That's exactly what Mr. Rogers did for millions of us in our formative years. He was an influential part of who we became. But to truly understand how Mr. Rogers was amazing, you need to believe that good people can still exist. I've had Mr. Rogers' book prominently displayed in the studio for years. It's on the wall. People always ask me about it. And anytime I talk to somebody about Fred Rogers, usually a younger person, it doesn't take long before they start theorizing a darker hidden truth. Like, you sure he wasn't a pedophile? Probably an asshole in real life, though, right? And there's also a really pervasive myth that Mr. Rogers was actually a sniper in his younger days, and he had one of the highest kill records of anybody in the armed forces. That's why he wears these long-sleeve sweaters to cover up his tattoos.
Tats. Yeah.
Was never in the military, went to seminary. Whether or not he was an asshole in real life, according to basically everybody that ever met the man ever, he was a joy to work with and be around, and he was the exact same person on camera and off. But good intentions can only get you so far. You have to be effective. And to be effective, you got to be willing to take risks, to put yourself on the line. Mr. Rogers threw himself into the lion's den. The man hated TV. He actually dedicated his life to elevating the place that he didn't see anything worthwhile.
30 years ago, I came right here to NBC and was a floor manager right in these studios. I remember the Horn and Hard Art Children's Hour in this studio. It was terrible. People would bring their little children and make them perform.
And he decided to be the change that he wanted to see in the world. A revolutionary in a bow tie. But he didn't just throw stones or complain. It was never you he hated. He hated and resisted the things that break us, especially children, and met them on their level. The things that he did is just kind of amazing. For example,
what does assassination mean? It means somebody getting killed in a sort of surprise way.
Wow.
Yeah, so the Robert Kennedy assassination,
Oh my gosh, I'd never seen that one.
Well, he realized that everybody is talking about it in front of their kids, and
Yeah.
their kids are going to be like scared and confused. And, like,
have
someone's-
no idea what's going on.
Yeah, they have no idea. But for him to, in his show, just very directly and very head-on, in an accessible way and in a way that is very gentle. That was like one example of the kind of stuff that he did. This is our cheers-worthy whiskey. Frankly, I'm not much of a rye guy, but this is good. And if we're talking about Mr. Rogers, I'm not much of a feelings guy. But if part of becoming a man is navigating and managing those pesky human emotions, he's an absolute legend. For Mr. Rogers, it's got to be Pennsylvania rye, and Pennsylvania is his home state, and in American Whiskey Conversations, whiskey roots go so deep in Pennsylvania. So does Mr. Rogers. They erected a statue of him in Pittsburgh in his honor. It overlooks the Allegheny River near Mr. Rogers' neighborhood studio. All right, let's check out what Mr. Rogers' statue looks like. That's unfortunate. For all the parents that just put their kids in front of Mr. Rogers, I don't think they understood how much water this guy was carrying.
Yeah,
For them.
are you kidding
he was
me?
doing.
So why isn't your daddy here with you?
Well, my daddy's divorced from my mom.
What's that mean?
I don't think they love each other anymore, but I know my daddy loves me, and my mommy loves me too.
Holy shit, that's
I'm
crazy.
saying. And I don't think people realize how subversive his work actually was. Not because it sought to overthrow or disrupt, but because it presented a deeply humane, thoughtful, and caring way of engaging with viewers that challenged the norms of the time. This was the late 60s. This was the era when, a lot of black people in a lot of areas of the country weren't allowed in public pools.
Citizens were forbidden from swimming in pools with white people. Mr. Rogers invited a black police officer to come dip his feet in a pool with him, breaking a well-known color barrier.
With a kiddie pool
Yeah.
next to a black police officer, and just had a conversation.
Like he's just going at it in a way where it's like, this is how
Yeah.
it should be, Not saying you need to be this way, because that's not how you make people see the difference that you're trying to create.
I don't know if I can handle his diet choice, though.
Wrap the cheese around the banana and eat right away.
Eat right away.
Right away.
No way is that good. No way. The cheese smells weird. I haven't had Kraft in a long time.
And eat right away. That's very good.
That's very good.
Did you ever have anything like that?
I'm never.
Never, Mr. Rogers. It's not as bad as.
Are you really finishing the banana and cheese? You're eating around the cheese.
No.
Leah. The brilliance of Mr. Rogers is that he didn't coddle you. He didn't shield you from the real world. He met complicated issues head on and showed you how to deal with the inevitable. Disabilities. Check this out.
It's a very fancy machine, but you're the one who makes it go.
Right.
Did you notice that? That's a very impressive machine, but you're the one who makes it go.
But it's you. I like every part of you.
The Lifetime Achievement Award for the Television Hall of Fame.
Welcome Jeffrey Erlanger.
That's the kid? Oh my god! Oh my god!
On behalf of millions of children and grown-ups, it is you that I like.
Mr. Rogers didn't know this was coming. He sees Jeff,
Yeah.
jumps out of his chair, crawls up onto the stage. Everything else disappears, and he's just there with Jeff.
What a surprise.
And in this speech that he gives to a room full of celebrities and television professionals,
Yeah.
he had everybody in this award show have 10 seconds of silence to remember
those who have encouraged us to become who we are tonight. Just 10 seconds of silence. I'll watch the time.
Like, this is a tremendous amount of money
Yeah.
and 10 seconds of just dead air.
Yeah, that's kind of badass because nobody can do anything about it.
Yeah.
So he's up there like, this is what we're doing.
We all have only one life to live on Earth. And through television, we have the choice of encouraging others to demean this life or to cherish it.
Remember somebody that was very influential in your life.
Yeah.
And then he brings it back to them. You are that person. He challenges people to rise to the occasion. And I thank you.
I thank you for all the good that you do
into the world of millions of people through their role.
Everybody's so focused on, you know, the negative or calling people out or the how dare yous and trying to make it seem like they're trying to send a message of positivity, but that's not really how you do it. Just a master.
Mr. Rogers was a man of many sweaters, and he had a deep love of trains, probably. He spent his life helping children because he thought they were good, even though most people find them quite irritating. The true Messiah that the Jews refused to accept was Mr. Rogers.
What are you doing?
I'm telling people about Mr. Rogers. That's the whole episode. Isn't that what we're doing? Your kids suck. But Mr. Rogers loved them. Just sit him down in front of Mr. Rogers, okay? He'll do a better job than you could ever do.
There's another reason why Mr. Rogers needs a rye whiskey to honor his legacy. Rye whiskey is a little bit of a nerdy thing, but it's one of the trickier grains to work with if you're not set up for it. It gets really sticky, and if you don't have the right equipment and expertise, then it's kind of a mess. Which is also exactly like children and their emotions. They're very messy, complicated creatures. It was with his expertise that he was able to guide children through the process of growing up. Even though it's been many years since the man's passing, a lot of people still Google Mr. Rogers. And if you do the autofill thing, where you put in, did Mr. Rogers, and let it just populate, you'll find, did Mr. Rogers have tattoos? Did Mr. Rogers die? Yeah, he died a while ago. Also, did Mr. Rogers like heavy metal? I'm pretty sure that God custom built Mr. Rogers in a lab just to show the rest of us what kind strength looks like. This guy was so much of a G, he personally responded to every fan letter he ever received. We're talking hundreds of thousands of letters.
Every single one?
Every single one got a reply.
Holy.
Not an autographed headshot. He read what you wrote and replied to the things that you wrote to him. And he never bragged about that.
Man, and I was complaining about writing those 650 handwritten thank you notes.
You just did vaguely the same thing. You mixed it up. You mixed it up a little bit.
Am I Mr. Rogers? Right, guys?
This episode is sponsored by
Factor.
These meals,
Yes.
you've had them. I'm about to.
Yes.
What do you like about them?
So they're super convenient, super fast. They take only 2 minutes. 2 minutes.
Yeah?
They're made by gourmet chefs.
Oh, nice.
You can select different meals weekly. It's made to help reach your nutrition goals.
Oh. This one's the garlic and herb roasted mushrooms here. What do you got?
I have the herb roasted chicken.
That's a good mushroom.
Dude, that's fire.
This is legit good. Fresh, never frozen. Chef prepared, dietitian approved.
Mhm.
This seems like it's a good solution if you're looking for something fast, which we are always running out of time.
Mhm.
And then something good and upscale that we can put together easily because are you a chef?
No, I make the same thing for dinner every night.
Neither. I'm not
So
a chef.
these options are very important to me.
Yeah.
Dude, this is so good.
So whenever something's good, then the immediate question is like, how much does it cost?
They're less expensive than most takeout.
So what are the options in terms of how we can schedule this coming to my house?
You can pause or reschedule these meals at any time,
Mhm.
and they have a huge range. So it's 6 meals to 18 if you want.
Okay.
Right to your door, dude. They send you this box right here.
All right, if you magnificent bastards want to try it, what are they going to do? Where are they going to go?
You're gonna go to factor75.com and use code WhiskeyTribe50 for 50% off your first box, plus 2 free wellness shots from 3 available flavors for every order while you are an active subscriber.
Fred Rogers was so committed to bringing a loving and kind strength into the world that it was literally the man himself. He was that. Mr. Rogers weighed exactly 143 pounds, most of his life. How could I possibly know that? Because for him, 143 was a very significant number. It meant I love you. I is 1 letter, love 4 letters, you 3 letters.
3 letters.
143 is basically just a code
Oh
to say I love
my
you.
God.
And he took that so seriously.
Are you kidding me?
He took that so seriously. his physical form, he maintained to be the embodiment of I love you. Again, he didn't boast about any of these things. I weigh 212 pounds. It's also a code for I'm old and busy and I don't give a shit what I eat. If we're talking about a Pennsylvania rye for Mr. Rogers, we gotta go Dad's Hat. The name Dad's Hat comes from the founder's memory of his father's collection of hats, particularly Stetson fedoras. Dad's Hat resonates with the paternal figure that Mr. Rogers symbolized for many of his viewers. Just as a father's hat might be seen as a symbol of comfort and reliability and warmth, Mr. Rogers offered those exact same qualities. You want to try some Dad's Hat? Here's what Mr. Rogers tastes like.
It smells like a wooden door.
But behind the door, there's some spices.
Yeah, there's it's like cinnamon, maybe like an allspice. It's kind of vanilla-y too.
So the thing about the distillery behind Dad's Hat is they emphasize...
Dude, that's like a silky blanket on your tongue. It just like coats the whole thing. That's actually really good.
The final reason why I chose Dad's Hat, oh my God. The final reason why I chose Dad's Hat is because they emphasize classic distilling methods and whenever possible, they're sourcing local ingredients, the local rye, to support the neighborhood, which is exactly, yeah, they try and keep it local.
That's beautiful.
Like Mr. Rogers.
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
Yeah, you got it. So we've been talking about all these amazing things about Mr. Rogers.
Yeah.
But nobody's perfect, so I did some digging. There was the unfortunate instance where he taught...
Where is Tolman? Here I am. Here I am.
Good.
Well, how are you today, sir? Very well, I say, sir.
Oh, my kids are doing it.
Okay.
That is awesome.
So
what?
He was such an innocent, pure human being.
Yeah.
Like, this didn't mean to him what it means to everybody else. That's all of the dirt.
Here I am. Here I am.
So, hopefully, our cheers-worthy whiskey takes into account who Mr. Rogers was. Clearly, the world is messy, but he didn't shy away from it. He showed us how to make it better, starting with yourself. His opinion of TV programming is very relevant to social media platforms. The potential is tremendous, but the priorities of these platforms, their algorithms, the incentives of corporations that own them, are deeply misaligned with what creators and their communities need to grow and develop. Jack Conte, CEO and founder of Patreon, recently gave an excellent explanation of this new reality in his South by Southwest presentation. Whiskey Tribe, at its best, is exploring whiskey, but the most important part has always been the tribe part of Whiskey Tribe. The people. The experiences that happen around the bottle, not just in it. I really hope you enjoyed this episode. I've wanted to make content like this for a long time, but please understand, this next chapter is swimming against the current. It's at odds with the negativity and the dopamine-fueled time sucks that modern algorithms crave. I'm not going to ask you to like or subscribe or share the video. Just don't be surprised if these platforms aren't inclined to show you much of our content if you don't look for it on purpose. Whiskey Tribe changes whiskey culture with rule number 1. The best whiskey is the whiskey you like to drink the way you like to drink it. If you're a snob, we're not for you. We explore whiskey in our online spaces. The world's first crowdsourced distillery is here in Austin, so we could make stuff and explore it there. In this next chapter, we honor the spirit, not just in the glass, but the spirit of those who help shape us. In the coming weeks and months, our goal is to host more community events and videos for whiskey, yes, but mostly for the people. Even if you don't find us again, that's okay. We will be here, exploring the lives of those who put up a good fight, stealing wisdom from legendary people, and drinking a cheers-worthy tribute to their legacy. Which brings us to the ultimate quality over quantity question. Which whiskey is worthy of your heroes? A lost companion. A moment worth celebrating. For now, we lift this spirit to a man who lifted the spirit of millions and equipped us to live a better life. Now it's our job, to do that work. Cheers.